most degraded outcast, Chandala. O Vrindavan, if you accept me, I shall become so exalted that even the great souls, who are like tilak markings, decorating the community of saintly devotees, will worship me and bow down to offer respect to me. So he's saying that because of my uncontrolled mind and senses, I'm engaged in sinful activities like a dog eater. But Vrindavan, if you accept me, I will surely become purified by your merciful touch and glance. And then the saintly persons, observing my transformation and my inner rectification and elevation to the standard platform of devotional purity and behavior, they will offer praises and prayers. The Sadhu Vrinda Tilakar, the group of sadhus in Vrindavan, they're like the tilak, adorning the head of the body. The body is final adornment of the head of the human body is the tilak marking. The Urdhva Pandra tilak of the Vaishnava or Vaishnavi, or the auspicious tilak mark of a married Hindu woman, of the red dot kunkum on her forehead, kunkum or whatever, sindur, I guess it's called sindur on her forehead, which indicates that she's a chaste woman in Vedic culture. These are the final, so the sadhus are like that tilak of Vrindavan. They are the crown of Vrindavan, sadhus. And they see that such a sinful, degraded person as me is like a chandalaka. Then they will offer praise. Look what Vrindavan has done. All glories to Vrindavan. All glories to Vrindavan. This is the mercy of Vrindavan. Chapter 11, verse 87. Interesting, so many different angles come up. Each verse has its own, it's like a diamond, so many facets. 87, chapter 11. Brata kim maranam malaikav nilaya sri pinda boga spriha. Rogako bahirantarun matana kridveshota roga para. Kaswarga parmo vrajendra tanaya premotsave sangati. Kim sarvo panishad rahasya paramam vrindatavi tat priyo. O brata, O brothers, kim maranam, what is death? Sounds like the Dharmaraj personified came to test Yudhisthira in the Dharma Kund in Kamyavan and Vrindavan, when the Pandavas were staying in Kamyavan, Vrindavan, during their exile. Yamaraj came and asked him some questions. So the author is asking the question, what is death? And someone might say, death is the end of the body. Or death is, that's it, man, everything's over. It's all over. Someone else will say, death is beginning. Death is beginning of a new life. Death is transition. Death is giving up a useless body, accepting a new body. So many definitions of death. The final point, death. And what did he say? He asks a question and he answers it. What would you say if someone asked you, what is death? I doubt any men in the audience would give this answer. I think, let me ask that question. You can ask someone on the train or a bus. Say, let me ask you, what is death? What kind of question is that? That's what people say. I mean, what does it mean? What is death? Death means it's over. I mean, what's over? I mean, you're over, your body, and you get all these different answers, and that's a good way to start a preaching session with someone. Excuse me, sir, we've been riding together so many hours on this train. I'm a little curious, because you seem to be quite a gentleman, established person. I'd like to have some dialogue with you. May I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. Can you tell me what is death? I'm serious. What is death? I've often thought about it myself, but I'm not clear. I have a question. What is death? The man will say, oh, listen, son, you don't know what death is? Death is the desire to enjoy a woman's body. That is death. Acha. I think I'll change my seat, sir. I just got married last week, and I'm on a business trip. I'm taking a train to Kanpur on business. Thank you. Nice to talk to you. Death is the desire to enjoy a woman's body. Because what is it, after all? It's nothing but a bag of stool and urine. That is called death. So he's asking interesting questions here. Sir, excuse me, that was a nice answer. I appreciate your answer. It's very enlightening. I'll talk about it with my wife when I get home. And ask her what her idea is. If she thinks that death... And I got home and I asked my wife, what do you think is death? My wife said, death means the desire to enjoy a man's body. Because a man's body is nothing but a bag of stool and urine. That's death. All right, sir, let me ask you another question. What is disease? Rog. Rog ko bahir. Disease, well, cancer and heart disease. There's disease. It's sickness. It's bad health. No. What is disease? Envy and illusion, which internally and externally agitate a person. That is disease. Oh, that's an interesting answer, sir. Let me ask another question. Disease is envy and illusion. That's a disease. A lot of diseased people out there. We should open a hospital. We should open one of those specialty clinics. This is an envy clinic. Come here, we'll cure your envy. Envy and illusion. We have a special wing in our hospital dedicated to surgeries, envy surgery and illusion surgery. Yesterday I took out 2 envies. I had 3 patients. I removed 3 cancerous sores of envy. Really? Oh yeah, it was all over the guy's brain. This cancerous tumor, took over his whole brain, and I took him in for surgery. It took about 12 years of Krishna consciousness. 12 years of Krishna conscious surgery, and finally I got that tumor out of his brain. It was massive. It took me 12 years to cut it out. After 12 years of Krishna bhakti, the envy came out. Acha. Well, I operated on this guy who had illusion. And I've been operating on him for 10 lifetimes. I've had him in my hospital, this disease of illusion. I've been operating him for 10 lifetimes, and still I can't cure this disease of illusion. Well, that's a tough one. Now let me ask you another question, sir. It's a pleasure talking to you. What is heaven? What is swarga? What is heaven? Ka swarga paramo. Brajendra Tanya Premutsava Sangha. Heaven. Heaven is that Prem Sangha, to associate, that's an utsav, it's a festival, to associate with Premi Bhaktas, those that are in love of Radha and Krishna, Brajendra Tanya, the one who is born from the king of Braj, that means Brajendra Tanya means Krishna. Krishna Premotsava, Utsav, Sangha. What is heaven? The association of devotees who are filled with love for Nanda Nandan. That is what I call heaven. What is heaven on earth? Not some palatial home in a ritzy neighborhood. That is not heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Premi Bhakta Sangha. Premi Bhakta Sangha. Yes, that's a wonderful, wonderful answer. Now I have another question. Where can I find that
What's
Sangha?
going?
My friend, that is very rare. It's Sadurlava Mahatma. All right, let me ask another question.
Hare Krishna Shila Gurudev. Oh.
Because you seem like a very learned person, very philosophically inclined. What is the Upanishad Rahasya? What is the secret teaching of the Upanishads? You don't know. No, I've read Katha Upanishad, I read so many Upanishads, I read Taittiriya Upanishad and Gopal Tapani Upanishad. What is the actual essence? You don't know? The essence is Vrindavan, Priya Vrindavan, and Priyaji, and Priyatam, and Priya Sham, and Priya Shama. Vrindavan is the essence of all the Upanishads. And in Vrindavan, the essence of Vrindavan is Priya Priyatam. They are the most essential, confidential purport of the Upanishads. Vrindavan Mahimamrita ki jai. Prabodhananda Saraswati ki jai. I believe we finished 1642, 1363, 1524. We're discussing the full category of Braj Bhajan means Raganuga Bhakti, and anything less than that is a relative concern. And this section is 2 more verses describing neglect Hari Bhajan and Vaidhi Sadhana to attain Vaikuntha, and simply live in Braj and do Braja Bhajan, and engage in Raganuga Bhakti. This is the emphasis of this category in this subsection. Aparatak Purushartha Chatushtayam Bhagavato Bhajanam Cha Bhaved Bahu Dhruvamidam Tu Vina Vrishabhanuja Varam Mahona Mahojvala Bhaktaya. Religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, dharma, kama, moksha, let's say moksha, and liberation can be achieved at other places besides Vrindavan. For example, Haridwar. There are 7 cities in India which are called Mukti Dwara, Mukti Puri, where if you live there and die there or reside there, then, and especially if you do bhajan, you get liberation, mukti to Vaikuntha, not to Vrindavan. So Ayodhya Puri is one, Dwarka Puri is one, Haridwar is one. I don't know, maybe Mathura, I don't know if Mathura is listed there or not. I don't think Mathura is listed there. But Ayodhya and Dwarka and Haridwar and Shiv Kanchi and Ujjain, I forget, they're all there. They're there. And he's saying, go there, you want to get liberated. That's why they call it Haridwar. Haridwar, the gateway, the door to Hari Vaikuntha, Haridam, described in Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma, Devidam, Haridam, and Vaikuntha Dham. So Haridam is the abode of Vaikuntha, Vishnu. Various modes of worship to the Supreme Lord can also be performed in those places. But it is a fact that devotional service in the mood of conjugal love cannot be attained in any other place other than Sri Vrindavan. Ujjvala Bhakti, Shringar Ras, Ujjvala Shringar Ras, Madhurya Bhakti, and Gopika Bhakti is only available here in the Vrishabhanuja Vanam. Without Vrishabhanuja, that means Radharani, Vrishabhanu Nandini, without, it's interesting, her forest is called Vrishabhanuja Vanam. Vrishabhanu Maharaj Janma, she who is born from Vrishabhanu Maharaj, without her forest, you cannot attain this wonderful form of prema bhakti. Bhagavat bhajan, chabhavid bahu, druvamidam tavina. We'll look at another translation. So this is a point that these other forms of bhajan to attain Vaikuntha, forget them all. Go somewhere else and do that. Come to Vrindavan and do Rag Marg, Rag Bhajan, to attain Radha and Krishna Yugal and Ujjvala Prem. This is another translation. The four goals of life, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and the fervent worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot carry one to Sri Radha's forest of Vrindavan. Vrishabhanuja Vanam, without splendid pure devotional service, Ujjvala Bhaktaya. So this last line falls short in this translation. The other one is quite right. Here's a fact that bhakti in the mood of conjugal mellow, because Ujjvala, Maha Ujjvala, is another way of saying Mahabhav. The Mahabhav of Radharani in her forest is not possible. That type of bhakti, that type of prema bhakti outside of Vrindavan, can't be attained in any other place, Vrindavan. So next verse is 17:10. Now there's one other subsection here. Shastras can't help. Of course, we discuss this sometimes. How that, except Shastras like Vrindavan Mahimamrita and Govinda Lilamrita and other Shastras, they can help. They're necessary. We discussed that. 1456. Kamam vaso bhavatu narake chain mahananda kande shimad vrindavana gunagane puryate karna randra gyante va smriti patam ato yanti va nanyata me Shri Vaikunthe yahaha ruchitam shishtitu prayadasyam. I do not mind to live in hell if I can hear the transcendental qualities of the most blissful Sri Vrindavan. I simply desire to sing and remember Vrindavan's glories. Alas, otherwise I have no taste for even the service of Sri Narayan and Vaikuntha. Narayan Seva. In this category is here, no taste for Dasya Ras of Lord Narayan. Service means Dasya Ras. Some people are there on Shanta Ras. They're simply Salokya Mukti. I'm here. That's enough. But some people are more interested in Samipya. Samipya means proximity for service. Samipya Mukti. You're nearby serving, interacting in a personal way. In Dasya. Nice point he's making here. So I don't mind if I live in hell if I can hear the transcendental qualities of the most blissful Vrindavan. So I don't mind if I live in hell France, hell Noida, hell Mumbai, hell Delhi, hell anywhere. If I can hear the glories, as long as I can hear the blissful glories and qualities of Vrindavan. That's what this class is all about. So if we stop giving this class, then you'll burn in the fires of hell. Then the hell will surround us. So this is the point, that we may be in hell, but if we're with Krishna, we're in heaven. Heaven on earth, as they say. Earth without Krishna is hell. So we rather say, your Vrindavan is the spiritual world. And to hear about Vrindavan anywhere in the hellish places outside of Vrindavan, how can you say they're not hellish? Everywhere is sinful activity, everywhere non-devotees, everywhere Gramikata. That's hell. What is hell? Hell is no Harikata. Hell is no devotees. You go in the city of Paris or in France, how many devotees are there? 5? 25 million people? 10 million people? You go in Delhi, Noida, 25, 30 million people. How many devotees? 5, 10? 1,000 of 1%? So that means everyone else is a hellish representative of hell. Hellish businesses, hellish occupations, hellish ideas, hellish thoughts, hellish dress, hellish food habits, hellish ambitions, hellish roads, everything hell. Vrindavan is a very thin covering of Maya, but the Maya can't cover Govardhan Hill. Can't cover Yamuna, Nidhivan, Sevakunj. Can't cover Radharaman, Radha Shyam, Radha Govinda, Gopinath, Damodar, Barsana, Nandagram, Mankutir, Kamyavan, Uteshwar, Kundeshwar, Gopishwar. The Maya, where is this Maya covering? There's some dirt here and there and some plastic bags and pigs and dogs and monkeys, too many. There's nothing. It's like a glass window pane with a slight covering of dust. You can still make out pretty much clearly what's happening outside and out the window. So the real dust is on our eyes, not on Vrindavan. Chaitodarpana Marjam, it's called the dust on the consciousness. Our conscious eye has dust on it, so we can't perceive the transcendent beauty of Krishna, transcendent beauty of Vrindavan, effulgently shimmering and glimmering in all directions around us. Lord Jesus preached the same point. To remove the cinder from your own eye before you see the dust particle in another's. So cinder, whatever. Remove the cinder from your own eye before you see the faults of others. So cinder means that when a coal is burning, it spews off black smoke. In that black smoke are very minute little vanilla bean-like particles. When you get vanilla, sometimes natural vanilla is all these little powdery little black dots. In America, or you buy some fancy ice cream, and it's little black, looks like dirt in the ice cream. It's white vanilla ice cream, but it has all these little speckles and particles. And that's real vanilla. Have you seen? Anyone seen? I've seen. You never dealt with vanilla powder? You never cooked it?
No vanilla powder.
Vanilla itself, it grows in a very thin pod, like a carob. You've seen carob? Maybe you have trees there. Little seeds inside, you shake them. And so the pod is where it dries out, and then you open up, take all the seeds out, and crush it in powder, and that's carob powder. So vanilla is a tree, first of all. It's not a bush, it's a tree, and it has these thin little pods, skinny little pods on it. Sometimes they sell in the market, Fab India and other places. Original vanilla. And if you split it up on the razor blade, you see all this black dust inside. These little spots, so that Vrindavan is, so when coal burns, in the smoke are all these little vanilla-like spots, black particles. And if you ride in the old steam engines of Indian trains, which were still existing until about 5 years ago, in some remote parts of India, they're still using steam engines and hill stations and other narrow gauge roadways, which are still extant. And you sit there in the seat, and after 5 minutes, your clothes is covered with black soot. So this is like Vrindavan. Vrindavan has just the little particles of dust. But that's what the cinder, what I mean to say is the cinder is that thing in your eye, that black piece of coal. It's called a cinder, coal cinder, smoke cinder. And Jesus said, remove the cinder from your own eye before you see the faults of another. So you have a cinder in your eye, it means something faulty, something wrong with your eye. So now applying this to Vrindavan, there's no faults in Vrindavan. The cinders in our eye, the faults in our eye, the eye of our consciousness. Because there's so much calm and crowd, anger, envy, lust in us, and we can't see the Chinmaya Vrindavan as it really is, as the saints and sages see it. This is 14, which one? 56. I shall voluntarily choose to live in hell. If while living there, if my ears may be filled with the supremely blissful glories of Sri Vrindavan. In other words, says, I'll go to hell if I can always hear about Vrindavan. Or if I may sing these glories while I'm living in hell. Or if those glories will enter the pathway of my memory. So I don't mind living in hell, any hellish place outside of Vrindavan, any hellish city in India or the West, if I can simply remember Vrindavan, the glorious Vrindavan, its festivals, its deities, its holy places and pastimes that I heard about and saw and acted there and heard described there as I rolled in the dust of those Leela Stalis, I'll recall that in my memory files, and then I can bear and withstand to live in hell. If I cannot do any of these things to connect my mind with Vrindavan, then even if I attain the loving service of Lord Narayana Vaikuntha, I will not derive any happiness from that. So this is no taste for Narayana or Vaikuntha. He's very much, which of course is the goal of Vaidhi Bhakti. When one performs Vaidhi Bhakti, his goal is Krishna Prema. He wants Prema. So if he doesn't follow in the footsteps of the gopis or the sakhas of Vrindavan, the Raganuga, I would say Ragatmika Bhaktas, and Kamanuga Raganuga Bhakti or Sambandhanuga Raganuga Bhakti, if he doesn't follow these Sambandha Ragatmika Bhaktas or the Kamanuga Sambandhanuga Ragatmika Bhaktas like Yashodananda, or the Sakhas, or the Kamanuga Ragatmika Bhaktas like Gopis and Manjaris, there's no chance to enter Goloka Vrindavan in the service of Radha and Krishna, Madhurya Bhav. No chance to go to Vrindavan. He'll attain Prema. He'll go Nishta, Anartha Nivriti Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema, and Prema will take him to Vaikuntha. So he's saying, I don't want that. And at all costs, I just want any kind of connection with Vrindavan, because I know if I live outside of Vrindavan, and my mind is Vrindavan, and my words are Vrindavan, my ears are Vrindavan, then when I die, I'll go to Vrindavan. Even if I die in hell. Hell France, hell Noida, hell anywhere. Because my consciousness is there. So that's the emphasis. He said, I don't even want to do Vishnu Bhakti or even Vaidhi Bhakti. As I mentioned, the whole category is Vrindavan Bhajan means Raganuga Bhakti. There's no room for Vaidhi here. The next point we have here is sadhana is useless. I would assume, obviously, that means Vaidhi sadhana is useless. He has no taste for dasya ras or attaining Vaikuntha or performing a service in bhakti that will take one there. In fact, sadhana is useless if, chapter 12, verse 44. Let's find out the exceptions. Okay, sadhana is useless. Well, what kind of sadhana? Yoga sadhana is useless. And let's see, 12, 424. Kim Re Mahananda Rasabdi Kelam. Yes, you're there? Everyone's there? Hedvarti Sindav Abuddha Patadve Vihaya Vrindavanam Atya Sadyam Tatsarane Yat Kurutavi Yogam. Kimre Mahananda Rasabdi Kelam Hidvarti Sindhava Buddha Patadve Vihaya Vrindavanam Atya Sadyam Tatsarane Yat Kurutavi Yogam. Oh, foolish people! Why are you giving up enjoyment in the ocean of mellows of ecstatic love and falling into the ocean of material distress? Why are you leaving Vrindavan and engaging in the practice of impossible sadhanas? And the category here is sadhana is useless. Oh, foolish people. Mahananda, Ananda Rasa Abdi Kelam. Kelam means to play, frolic, enjoy. Abdi means the ocean. And Rasa ocean. Radha Rasa Sudanidhi. Mahananda, that great bliss of playing in the ocean of Rasa that's flowing everywhere in Vrindavan. Hitvarti means you give that up. That's like another translation. Oh, fools! Why have you stopped playing in the nectar ocean of intense transcendental bliss? Why have you stopped playing in the nectar ocean of intense transcendental bliss. Why have you instead plunged into an ocean of troubles? Why have you left the difficult to attain realm of Vrindavan to practice spiritual life in some other place? Are you stupid? Vihaya Vrindavanam ati sadyam tat sadhana yat karutabhiyogam. He's really saying, listen, it's all here. It's all in Vrindavan. When people are in Vrindavan, if they actually enter Vrindavan with the right consciousness and the right practices while they're here, they experience the blissful ocean of rasa. Our troubles fade in the background, recede in the background. And the low tides of distress and anxiety get flooded with the rising waves of Braja Rasa. Vrindavan it has, like they say, they describe ice cream to someone, and then someone will say, you have to taste it. So Vrindavan, we're of course using so many verses, Prabhupada Saraswati is giving us so many verses to describe Vrindavan, but ultimately one has to get the taste of Vrindavan. Oh, I came here for 1 week, I came here for 2 weeks, I came here for 3 weeks. Doesn't come so fast. When you stay for some time, then you pass the acid test, the Vrindavan acid test. And then you stay here for some time, not occupying space and breathing and passing air, but you stay here for some time, engaging all your life's air in Krishna Bhakti. And then you understand what they're talking about. What is this rasa? What is this taste? What is this prem bhav underlying the substratum of Vrindavan, the Vrindavan people, the real Brajvasis? What is that current of that sweet flavor that's flowing in their minds and hearts? It starts to surface, and you get sprinkled here and there, and you get a glimpse of the heart of the Brajvasi Vaishnava, and you get a glimpse of the heart of Vrindavan, and you get a fragrance or a sniff of the Leelas, and a slight sensation or feeling of what Vrindavan actually, what's under the cover here. But if you come for a week or a month or a few months, you just ice skate around on the cover of ice. Sometimes in the cold countries they have a lake and it freezes over with ice. And it gets thicker and thicker as it gets colder and colder. It can get 4 or 5 inches thick. The ice, and underneath the ice is water. It's a deep, deep lake. It doesn't become 100 feet or 30 feet thick of ice. Maybe a maximum of 6, 8, 10 inches. And hundreds of people can skate around the lake. I skated on such lakes. Like wear a pair of shoes with a metal blade on the bottom. And you skate around. And there's hundreds of people on a big lake. And the ice is, nobody's falling through again. And so this Vrindavan, you come here for a short time, you skate around on the frozen surface of Vrindavan, and underneath is all the liquid rasa. Because ice is nothing but frozen water, frozen rasa. So what's the frozen rasa covering of Vrindavan? It's our anarthas. It's the lack of sweetness and beauty and surrender and bhakti in our hearts. So we skate around this side of the ice skating rink or the lake to another, visit this holy place and that holy place. What is the thing about Vrindavan? I've been here for months. I don't see. It's all trumped up. It's not, I got so excited. These devotees, they jacked me up. I bought this flat over here, and now I lived here for a few months. I'm going back to whatever hell you came from, from hell to heaven and back to hell, from hell to the spiritual sky of Vrindavan and back to hell. So Prabhupada Saraswati is addressing such poor chaps, and that listen, you fool, you Abuddha. He's saying a Buddha is a nice way of saying hell. Abuddha patadwe. Abuddha patadwe. Oh, you foolish people. Why are you leaving Vrindavan? And even if you go and do some sadhana somewhere, what is this impossible sadhanas? Kuru, he says, Kuru, Abhiyogam. This Abhiyogam is Kuruta. Kuruta means very difficult to do. Kuruta. Kuruta Abhiyogam. The sadhana means that you want to become completely connected with your ishta, with your prayojan, with your goal. Abhiyogam. But he says Kurutabhyam. It's Kuruta. It's very difficult to work like that, to act like that. Just stay in Vrindavan. Go with the flow. Chant, serve, and remember. That's Vrindavan. Chant, serve, and remember. So by the Lord's grace, we hope to continue tomorrow. Vrindavan Mahimamrita. Hanta swarteshu kidyante bhantopi bhavadvija yat swachandanam samast artam vrindaranyam napashyata. Samastartam. Hanta, alas. Is that light on over there? Light? Yes. Why do great personalities like you lament for not attaining your goal of life? The goals of life are easily available here. Why then don't you turn towards Sri Vrindavan? Swarta, Kidyante. Swarta, what you want is Kidyante, easily attainable here. Swachandanam, Samasta Artam, all that Vrindavan, can't you see? Pashyata, see, look, in Vrindavan, there are millionaires in Vrindavan. People are fabulously wealthy in Vrindavan, so they have lots of art. And people have so much enjoyment in Vrindavan, so they have calm. And so many siddhas and liberated souls, so they have mukti. And there's so many dharmic persons and dharma dwajis and religious people, so they have dharma. And of course, naturally, it's a place of religion. So it's easily to see, pashyati, that everywhere in all directions of Vrindavan, people are attaining whatever they want. They want religiousness, and they're happy with that, live a moral, God-centered life, not exactly totally concentrated, fixed on God, but this is a primary idea, mixed with lots of enjoyment. They have that. And there's totally dedicated Niskinchan sadhus wandering around with Kopan and Kamandalu and living under the trees even today, living on Madhukari and crying out day and night, Radhe, 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 Radhe. Exalted persons like yourself take great trouble to attain your goals. Don't you see that all your goals will approach you of their own accord in Vrindavan? Swachandanam, samastartam. Na pashyati means don't you see, means that's what it means, don't you see. Here it says, why don't you turn? Not looking, why don't you look? So he's saying, don't you see? Na pashyati. Can't you see that in Vrindavan, all your goals, samasta art, they're approaching you. Swachandanam. It's their own itcha. Swa itcha. By their own desire, by their own will, Dharma is coming to you. This is the fruit of Brajavas. Dharma is coming to you. Calm, enjoyment, lust, women, men, they're coming to you automatically. Wealth, recognition, profit, adoration, distinction. Don't you see? They're coming to you automatically. And then liberation and what that brings with it. It's coming to you. Don't you see? That is Vrindavan Vas. So sometimes people say, oh, Vrindavan is a place for old people. Vrindavan is a place to retire. Vrindavan is a place for sannyasis. it's nice. I'd like to see some more here. But you should stay in the cities, because cities are for making money and enjoying life. But from the viewpoint of Prabhupada Saraswati, he's saying that Vrindavan is the place to be. You can get it all in Vrindavan. It's a big town, or big shop, whatever you call it. Hometown. This is the hometown. Because in this town everybody feels at home. I think that's only relevant if you know about hometown. But the people have that concept, oh, this is my hometown. When people say Manhattan, New York, oh, this is my home. Where's your hometown? Where's your home? People say like that. Where's your hometown? Well, can you actually say honestly that any city you live in, which you may claim to be your hometown, can you say that that's a town where everybody feels at home, comfortable, happy? What about the derelicts? What about the poor people? What about the starving people? What about the victims of crime and terrorism? They feel at home, So this Vrindavan is a town where every jiva can feel at home. Hometown comfort, home comfort. So he's saying, whatever you require, just come here. So that's why this particular category is listed under this title of sadhana is useless. You don't need any sadhana, just live here and you'll get everything. Because people do sadhana, means strict activities and regulated life. They do people, karmis and people interested in art, they have very strict sadhana. Many of these karmavadis that are absorbed in trying to make big bucks, they get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, these CEOs. I know some. They get up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, they start getting on the phone, making international calls to talk to other businessmen who are just getting to work. So listen, I put in that order. Right as soon as the guy gets to work, it's 10 o'clock in Tokyo, it's 2 a.m. in Delhi. And they get a call on their phone. And they say, good morning. They're all chipper. Just came to work, slept nicely. Hey, this is Luigi. No, this is Sunil Agrawal from Delhi. What about my shipment? You were supposed to ship it 3 weeks ago. Oh, I didn't expect you to call. It must be the middle of the night over there. That's right. So they start their business at 2 a.m. and they take rest at 11. Serious. Karmaholics. You've heard of alcoholics? These are karmaholics. They're totally intoxicated by karmic activities. It's unbelievable, but true. And they just keep popping pills and whatever it takes to keep going. Mad, driven, determined, regulated. I know one person, he told me, he was asking when I get up, and he said, I get up every day at 2 o'clock. I have businesses in California and New York and Florida. And I conduct all kinds of business. Ordering, I don't know what he does exactly, but from 2 o'clock until 7, I do all my work. And then from 7 to 9, I do my bhajan, my japa. And I take breakfast and go to my office. So and a lot of times he's working on the computer, accounting, so many things. Quiet hours. So that's interesting sadhana. So that's the type of sadhana. So when he says you don't need sadhana, you don't need to do any of those things. You'll get all the goals of life here. 1290. Shrimad Vrindavanam mama vina mulyameta chariram krinihitam kimiha bahuna tvatpade shiptameva dharmadharmadhyamita kritibir nasya poshesmi shakto amanda kranta gurutaradura sarvish chanokampya. Oh Vrindavan, what more can I say? Please take my body for free. Mama vinamulyam, there's no price. Shrimad Vrindavan vinamulyam. Shariram. Chariram means chariram means sharir. You say sharir. This body, vinamulyam, free, without any mulya, without any. Shrimad Vrindavan, and then Vrindavan looks at you and says, I don't even want it for free. I don't even want your body for free. I surrender this body at your feet, Srimad Vrindavan. I have failed to maintain this body by the help of various sadhanas, like following religious principles. And misguided, overburdened people are natural candidates for the mercy of those who are saintly. Very interesting phrase. Misguided, overburdened people are the natural candidates for mercy of those who are saintly. Anukampaya. Anukampaya means compassion, mercy. Gurutara Dura. Gurutara means heavy. Manda Kranta. Manda means slow, stupid. And Gurutara Dura. They're carrying heavy. Gurutara means a heavy weight. And it's going very far. Nasya Poshe. Interesting. Let's see the other translation. Synthesize it too. Oh, Sri Vrindavan, I have a question. Will you purchase my body if I don't ask any specific price? What better offer can I make? I throw my body at your feet. I can no longer maintain myself with any pious or impious deeds. Saintly persons should be kind to the weak, who carry very heavy burdens. That's what it says. Dharmatara, Gurutara, Mandakranta Gurutara Dura, Sarvish. Sadhus are Anukamplaya, very kind. Dharma Yadamita Kritibir Nasya Poshe. I've done all these things, but I'm crawling into Vrindavan and throwing myself at your feet. You can purchase me. Will you take me? Will you buy me? Will you accept me? Whatever you want to give. You want to pay me in dust? All right, give me some dust. You want to pay me 1 roti for my body and give me madhukari sustenance from the hands of the Vrishvasi Brahmins that are Anukampaya, that are compassionate and caring for the sadhus that have taken shelter and thrown their bodies in the dust of Srimad Vrindavanam. I accept that as fair payment for my body. My body is worth 1 roti. You want to give me long drinks of the Jamuna water with my cupped hands offered in supplication at your feet, then I accept that cup of water and that offering of water as a purchasing price, as a mulya for my sharir. Take my body, take it. Tavevasmi, na jivami tvayavina, iti vigaya, devi tvam nayamam chantiyan. I am yours, O Vrindavan, O Radha. I am yours. Can you understand that? Will you accept me? Na jivami tvayavina. Myself, I cannot maintain myself. I cannot live alone. I cannot live. You are my life. Na jivami tvayavina. Without you, I die. With you, I live. Without you, I die. I'm true. I'm honest. I'm sincerely telling you from my heart. Nayamam charanantikam. Can you, understanding this, O Devi, O Vrishabhanandini Devi, can you please accept me and the tips of your toenails? So this is Das Goswami's prayer of submission, where he's submitting himself utterly and absolutely at the feet of Radharani and her Dhamma Vrindavan. Prabhupada Saraswati is saying the same thing. Mama vina mulyam shariram krinihit kim bahuna. Because they ultimately are useless. Simply take shelter of sweet Vrindavan forever and make your life successful. Bhavata Bhavata Brindaranyam, Sharanyam, Brinda. Take shelter, Ashita, Brindaranyam. Aranya means forest, Dandakaranya. The forest of Brinda, of groups and groups of trees, and Kadamba Kandi and Tamal Brikshas and so many wonderful forests. Brindaranyam, Ashita Danya. You will get, by taking shelter there, taking shelter in the forest of Vrindavan, you will become Danya. You become successful, wealthy, opulent, fortunate, happy. There's no need to seek pleasure, happiness, or fortune elsewhere, because they bind you. You seek pleasure or fortune or Danya or Ranga, happiness, in the association of relatives, or knowledge, vidya, or yoshibi, fame. Then, or nana sadhana yasya dukher, or various forms of sadhana. See, it says here, nana sadhana. Nana means nana, shastra vicharana, means various forms of sadhana, dukher. They're all actually sources of unhappiness, sadness. So that's why this category is, sadhana is useless. So this is 1737, which says this. He says, nana sadhana, dukher. Sadhana makes you unhappy. Yoshibi, fame makes you unhappy. Knowledge makes you unhappy. Yoshid, associating with women, makes you unhappy. You're like an ass, become like an ass. Give it all up. Bhavata, bhavata. And this is, and take, do this, do this, do this, do this. Bhavata, bhavata means do this, do this. Do accept this, do accept this. Accept the shelter of the forest of Vrindavan. Then you'll be Danya. A wealthy man is a fortunate man is a happy man. A happy man is one who has love. And these are the gifts of Vrindavan. Vrindavan gives fortune, happiness, and love. Because Vrindavan is Radha and Krishna. It is their energy, it is their Leela, their Shakti, it's their very form. This is the beautiful glories of Vrindavan. Sadhana is useless in this realm. So now it's a new subsection of this larger section of Braj Bhajan means Raganuga Bhakti. And we heard about, so far we've heard the sweetness of Braj is beyond the Upanishads and Vaidhi Bhakti. Shastras are not required. Give up Hari Bhajan and Vaidhi Sadhana to attain Vaikuntha and simply live in Vrindavan and do Raganuga Bhajan. Shastras can't help. No taste for Dasya Ras of Lord Nityananda or Vaikuntha and Vaidhi Sadhana perfection. And we heard how sadhana is useless. Now we're going to hear that Jap, Tap, Yoga. Oh, this is a summary of what we heard already. Japa, Tapa, Yoga for 1,000 births are not equal to Pada Sevan in Vrindavan. Not equal to offering obeisances in Vrindavan. Now we have this section here. Vrindavan stops all sadhya and sadhana. Sadhana, of course, is the practices to attain the goal or objective, and that's sadhya. Chapter 10, verse 57. This is text Shataka 3, verse 40, to show this point of Vrindavan stops all sadhya and sadhana. Kanchit vanchita sadhya sadhana ganam nimrishta kaladika. Trasam niyahata papa punya vishayam nishpita trapatrayam. Nirabatam sakala trayi hridayatop yat yanta dure maha chitta prema rasarmi divya vanarat chudamanim chintaya. Just meditate on the transcendental abode of Vrindavan, which derides all goals of life, and the processes for achieving those goals. In other words, Vrindavan derides all sadhana and sadhya. Vrindavan completely destroys the fear of time, which destroys the 3 types of material miseries. Vrindavan is far away from the reach of the Vedas. Vrindavan is the crest jewel among all transcendental, wonderful forests. Please meditate on the crown jewel of all forests, Divyavan Rat Chudamanim Chintaya. Chudamanim Chintaya means to meditate on the transcendental forest of Vrindavan. It's a crown jewel of all forests. Vrindavan breaks the chain of cause and effect, wipes away the fear of time, destroys both sins and material virtues. What that means is papa karma and punya karma. Material virtues are punya karma. This punya karma keeps us in the material world. So many people are trying to collect and attain material virtues so they cash in next life. But they have to take another life, another birth, death, old age, and disease to get the benefits and blessings of their punya karma. So it's an impediment to liberation. So Vrindavan breaks all of that, all interest in art, dharma, art, and kam, punya, and breaks all sins. Vrindavan removes the 3-fold miseries, adhyatmika klesha, adhibhotika, adhidaivika klesha. Vrindavan remains far away from the 3 Vedas and is filled with the very wonderful nectar waves of pure transcendental love. Rasorami, Prema Rasorami, Chitra, variegated, Prema Rasorami, very variegated, wonderful waves of transcendental love. So the Vrindavan is just a wave of love. And if there's a wave, and if it's big enough, it's called a tidal wave. You may have heard. Or maybe they have new names now, like tsunami. Tsunami or tidal wave. So there's a huge wave, a tidal wave or tsunami, then no matter what stands in the way of that wave, it will be washed away. Houses are washed away, buses are washed away, coconut palm trees are washed away, boats are washed away, buildings are washed away, people are washed away, animals, tigers, snakes, everything's washed away by huge tidal waves. So Vrindavan is Chitra Prema Rasorami Divya Van Chudamanim Chintaya. Meditate on this crest jewel Chudamani of all transcendental forests. There are many transcendental forests. What makes a forest transcendental? A forest becomes transcendental when it's the place of God's pastimes. There's one forest in UP called Chitrakoot. Chitrakoot is a forest, a very beautiful forest with many lakes and the river Sarayu. And Lord Ramchandra in Treta Yuga and his consort, and he went there and had many pastimes in that forest. So Chitrakoot is a Divya Van. And in this day there are many sacred places of Ram Leela there in Chitrakoot. And many, many sheltered and beautiful ashrams there, inhabited by very peaceful, saintly devotees of Ramchandra, Ramanandi sadhus and others. And it's not very frequented place like Vrindavan or Haridwar or Jagannath Puri, although it's such a sacred, holy place of Ramchandra. And it's relatively peaceful and unsullied and pristine and natural atmosphere, very beautiful, actually, place. That's a transcendental forest. And then there's Dandakaranya forest, where Ramchandra, of course, had his pastimes when Ram was in exile. He had pastimes in this forest of Dandakaranya and Panchavati Van. And other incarnations, when you tour South India, there's so many deep forests there, and they'll say that this is a place of Parashuram, or so many different incarnations the Lord visited various places and forests. There's a place called Ahovalam. Ahovalam is in South India, and it's purported to be some place where Lord Nrsingadev in some particular kalpa, he went there, or appeared there at that place. And it's a very deep forest, and even today there's tigers there. And the pujaris, they do the puja in the day and they go home at night, so they can be there the next day. Otherwise the tigers may come and get some Nrsinga Prasad in the form of the pujaris, because they're full of Nrsinga Prasad. So it's a direct route. Instead of waiting for the Mahaprasad, you just eat the pujari of Lord Nrsingadev and you get the whole thing. So the tigers go that way. So they come back every day. So these are all would be transcendental forests, but they're not the Chudamani or Chudamani. The Chudamani is Vrindavan, Divya Vrindavan. This is glorified. So this forest is an interesting forest, because generally we don't hear about ocean waves in the middle of the forest. We don't hear about ocean waves in the middle of a forest. It's rather strange. A strange phenomenon. And we don't hear, I never heard, at least ordinarily, we don't hear about tidal waves moving through the middle of a forest. Very paradoxical event. But our author here, Vrindavan Thakur, is trying to stretch our imaginations to say, listen, Vrindavan is not an ordinary place. You won't find this tidal wave in Chitrakoot, nor will you find this tidal wave in Dandakaranya or Panchavati, or all the other forests of Ahovalam, or so many forests in South India, where God had his pastimes. But you'll find this tidal wave, huge wave, in Vrindavan. This Divya Vanchan Chudamani Vrindavan. That's why Vrindavan is the crest jewel of all transcendental forests, where the Lord has had pastimes in his various kalpas and various forms. And what is that wave, what is that tidal wave made of? Chitra Prema Rasa. Chitra Prema Rasa. Ormi. That wave. That this wave, this tidal wave is washing over the forest of Vrindavan, the Dwadasavan, Chirasikosh Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai. It's washed, this tidal wave of Chitra Prema Ras. This is variegated and multifaceted, multidimensional and multi-flavored. If you think that ice cream parlor is famous for 32 flavors, you haven't seen anything. Because Krishna, there's 360 different types of nayakas in Krishna's Leela. Nayaka means heroines. 360 different types of ladies have different types of bhav and flavors of bhav and love for Krishna. And Krishna is relishing so many variegated Chitra Prema Rasas in this Vrindavan wave. They say this is Rasa Tarangani, this wave. Tarangani means a wave of ras. Braja Rasa Tarangani. Waves of ras are washing over. So Prabhupada Saraswati, he's saying this place, if one comes to Vrindavan and lives anywhere in the forest of Vrindavan, then this tidal wave Krishnanukulya, non-favorable for Krishna, will be washed away. This is how he's glorifying the uniqueness of Vrindavan in this verse. That wave will destroy the fear of time. That tidal wave of Chitra Prema Ras that makes Vrindavan the Divya Van Chintamani will wash away Kala, wash away Punya, wash away Pap, wash away Sadhana, wash away Sadhya, wash away Klesh, Adhyatmik Klesh. Because Kleshas are a type of burning, type of fire. And what's the antithesis of fire? That's water. Fire is put out by water. If you have a torrential downpour of rain in the summer, it can put out a scorching forest fire. Monsoon rains. So in this material existence, we are burning. Davan alalita loka. Samsara davan alalita loka. Lidha. Lidha means afflictions, pinchings, afflictions, harassments, painings. Davanala means burning fire, forest fire. This is the samsara. So that fire actually there's three fires. Although it's saying Davanala Lita, the afflictions are described in that prayer by Vishwanath Chakravarti. Samsara Davanala Lita Loka. They're described in a generic way, but actually there's three fires that make up that Davanala. These three big raging fires make this huge bonfire, forest fire called Davanala. One is Adi Atmika Klesha, Adi Daivaka Klesha, Adi Bhotika Klesha. These burning miseries and fiery miseries caused by our own body and minds, and the bodies and minds of other living entities, and the material nature itself with extreme cold and heat and other anomalies and earthquakes and forest fires and tidal waves and tsunamis. So all of these burning fires are washed away by the tidal wave of Braja Prema Ras, Chitra Prema Rasarvi. This is the glories of Vrindavan. Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai. And now there's another verse that describes this point about Vrindavan washes away all sadhana and sadhya. Chapter 12, verse 90. Sarva sadhana hinopi Vrindavan yeka samshraya yakkopi prapnuyadeva radha priya rasotsavam radha priya rasotsavam radha priya rasotsavam radha priya rasotsavam. Become very dear to Radharani. How so? By taking Shraya. What type of Ashraya? everything ashraya, samashraya, complete shelter of Vrindavan, then you will become Radha Priya. And if you become Radha Priya by taking complete shelter of Vrindavan, then you will experience a festival of Ras Utsav. Sarva sadhana hinopi. Hina means all sadhana will be destroyed if you can do this. Prapnu yadheva. What will you attain? You'll attain prapti. What will you attain? Not paisa prapti, stri prapti, mukti prapti. You'll attain Radha prapti. You'll become Radha Priya, very dear to Radharani. Even a person who is devoid, hina, without any sadhana, if he takes shelter of Vrindavan without deviation, he will attain ecstatic devotional service that is very dear to Radharani. That's what he's saying. Now another translation. One who never performs any spiritual activities, but who has wholeheartedly taken shelter of Vrindavan, will attain the greatest festival of the nectar of pure love for Sri Radha's beloved. That's one way to translate. I gave a third way. The emphasis here is Krishna in these translations. My emphasis is Radha. Because Vrajabhav, Raghunaga Bhakti, means Radha Priya. We want to be dear to Radha, not dear to the dear of Radha. Hina, we have many friends and devotees in our circle of associates, and some of them are somewhat devoid of sadhana. But he's saying that even a person is totally devoid of any sadhana, it takes shelter of Vrindavan. Vrindaranya Aika Samshraya. Its translation here says without deviation. He's using this as a qualifier. All right, you don't do any sadhana. Fine. Wonderful. Take shelter of Vrindavan. But there is one sadhana you have to do in Vrindavan. That is no deviation. So this translator is saying no deviation. Another person is saying wholeheartedly taking shelter. So of course the word deviation has an implication. Generally, when we say deviation in our devotional circle of sadhaka bhaktas who are following yama niyama, the rules and regulations of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, deviation means to break the four regulative principles. So this particular translator is taking the word samshraya. Shelter means that. He's not just saying Vrindavanaika. Vrindavanaika samshraya. There's some specific words here that we have to look at. It says Brindaranya, Aranya, the forest of Brinda, Brindaranya Eka, Ashraya. It doesn't say Brindavan Ashraya. It says Brindavan Eka, or Brindaranya Eka Samshraya. So this can have different meanings. If you say Brindaranya Eka, it can mean you stay only in the one forest of Vrindavan among the 12 forests. Eka Aranya, this Aranya. Brindaranya, Aranya means forest. Forest means the Dwadasavan, 12 forests. But among those 12 forests, one is called Brindavan. Brindavan it goes from Sevakunj, Nidhiban, that area, municipal Vrindavan today, it goes to Nandagan, Barsana, Govardhan, like this. This is one forest called Vrindavan. Then it impinges or borders on Talavan, Madhavan, Bahulavan, etc., coming in different places, because it's like Bahulavan is going towards Vrindavan, and the right is Bahulavan. And like this, but this particular configuration of these points together is the forest of Vrindavan. Brindaranya Eka, stay in this forest. Why? Because this forest is dear to Radharani. Nandagram is dear to Radharani. She cooks every day for Krishna. Barsana is her home. And her heart's home is Radhakund. And Sevakunj and Rasastali, Nidhiban, all in the forest of Vrindavan. Gokul and all these forests this is Madhuvan and the Mahavan and all these pastimes of the cowherd boys. So firstly, okay, take shelter in Vrindavan, especially this forest of Vrindavan amongst the 12 in these places. So that's a type of as he's saying here, a type of wholeheartedness. And then another, he's not saying ashraya, Prabhupada Saraswati is not saying ashraya, he's saying samashraya, complete shelter. Means that you have nothing else, there's nothing else for you except Vrindavan. And that, if that's so then there's no deviation, means you don't deviate from the shelter of Vrindavan. It can also mean, because one author says that samashraya, one author is saying samashraya means no deviation. That you're so sheltered at the lotus feet of your guru that you won't deviate from your promise. We promise to the spiritual master we won't break the principles. This is a vow. It's called a sankalp. Before the fire, before the Vaishnavas, Guru, Thakurji, Deity. Oh Gurudev, he says, I promise. Promise means pratigya. Yes? Pratigya means sankalp. It's a pratigya and a sankalp. Yes, I take this sankalp, I promise, pratigya, that for my life I won't break the four regulative principles. No illicit sex, no gambling, intoxication, meat eating, fish, eggs, onions, garlic, tea, coffee, and all these things, cigarettes, pan, betel nut, etc. So now this is a promise, and this is a vow, sankalp. So one takes samashraya, complete shelter of that vow. Complete shelter is sankalpa, and complete shelter, guru parashraya. Guru parashraya. Where does bhakti begin? Where does Bhakti Dhira Damodara begin? With the first limb of the 64 limbs. First limb is guru parashraya. Complete shelter of the feet of guru. Mantan dan, guru samarpan. Mantan dan, guru samashraya. Guru samashraya, complete shelter of the guru. Mind, body, words, everything. This is guru parashraya. That's guru pad samashraya. Complete shelter. And if one is completely sheltered and always remembering Guru and always serving Guru and always glorifying Guru and always sincerely surrendered to Guru, then there's no deviation. Because Guru says, chant 16 rounds every day, you chant 16 rounds every day. So Prabhupada says, if you follow these four good principles and chant 16 rounds a day, I guarantee you'll never fall down. If you trace out anyone's fall down because they neglected their chanting, or they became slack in the principles, or both, or one or the other, chanting rounds of breaking principles, and then they're gone. Every single one you can ask, even from the sannyasis. I know one sannyasi came in 75, he came to the temple I was in, he was traveling with Prabhupada. And he was a servant, and I served him as a devotee, new initiated devotee. And then 8 months later he came back to the same temple. Now he's wearing pant and shirt and going to university. I said, Hare, what happened? A very intelligent person, not some foolish, very cultured, intelligent person. God brother. Traveling with Prabhupada, a servant, sannyasi, all around the world. Very intelligent preacher. He said, I was so busy, I was not neglecting my rounds, I got a little weak, this, that. Now going to university, studying to be a doctor. But there was a cause. If there's an effect, there must be a cause. Very clear cause. So that's the type of deviation. So this is not living in Vrindavan and deviating from four principles. It means not samashraya, not complete shelter. So then complete shelter, as the other author, the translator says, means wholeheartedly. One who wholeheartedly takes shelter. One who never performs any spiritual activities. Sadhana hinoti. He's without any sadhana. But he wholeheartedly, he takes shelter, complete shelter in Vrindavan, in the forest of Vrindavan, Nandagram, Varsana, Radhakund, etc. And he doesn't break the four principles or break his vow to his spiritual master. That's wholeheartedly. That's samashraya. Then what will he get? He'll get splendid divine love. He'll attain the greatest festival of the nectar of pure love for Sri Radha's beloved. Deva Radha Priya, you can say that Deva means here the Adeva, Prapnuya Dev, so that Dev would be Krishna, Dev Radha. He'll attain, he who is dear to Radha, the Rasa Utsav. He'll attain the Rasa dance. The Rasa Utsava means the Rasa dance. He'll attain his Manjri Swarup, he'll enter the Rasa dance and the Bhama Vrindavan and serve Radha Priya and Sham. He'll attain them by being sincere and wholeheartedly taking shelter of Vrindavan. This is the conviction and the belief and the Shruti fal and promise of Tunga Vidyasaki Prabhupada Saraswati. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. (1733). We're discussing this larger category called Braja Bhajan, means Raganuga Bhakti. These are all subcategories that support this point, how the sweetness of Braj is beyond the Upanishads and Vaidhi Bhakti. Shastras are not required, at least the mundane Shastras, Gyan, Karma, Yoga. Give up Hari Bhakti Vaidhi Sadhana to attain Vaikuntha and fix your mind on Braj and Raganuga Bhakti. These materialistic Shastras can't help, only Rasa Shastras and like Bhagavatam can help in this Raga Bhakti. And the Raganuga Bhakta who's pursuing Sakya Ras and especially Madhurya Ras, he has no taste for Dasya Ras or the servitude of Lord Narayan, which is the perfection of prema and Vaidhi Sadhana. And those types of Vaidhi Sadhana are useless, and one can do japa and tapa and yoga for 1,000 births, but doesn't even equal offering obeisances in Braj. Now we're discussing how Vrindavan stops all sadhya and sadhana. When you come to Vrindavan, just living in Vrindavan and serving without offense and respecting all the Brijvasis lovingly and caringly itself is the highest bhajan. So where is the sadhana there? Is that mentioned in any shastras as a specific sadhana or sadhya? Of course it is, indirectly, to honor others and honor Vaishnavas. And the goal is, of course, Vrindavan. But it's not listed as a specific sadhana, just to live here and breathe offenselessly. But that's difficult for most to do. At one point or another, someone will offend the Dham itself, or the residents of the Dham, or the yatris or pilgrims, sadhus in the Dham. It's a very fine razor's blade edge living in Vrindavan. So this is verse 1290. I don't know if we've done that. To talk about this point, that further elaboration on Vrindavan stops all sadhana and sadhya. Then the next, we have a new category here. Braj has a unique essence, which is the unique essence of Braj, which is available in Braj, is not available for the worshippers of Lord Vishnu, Vishnu Bhakti. This is chapter 7, verse 54. Sandra anandabdi madhye lasati rasamayam chinmani dvipamekam brindaranyam tarantas spurati puru chamatkari vaichitya dama tatrai vaikanta ratya nivasana.
Vatsala Sri Gaura Hari Vatsala Sri Gaura Hari Vajabhakata Vatsala Sri Gaura Hari Vajabhakata Vatsala Sri Gaura Hari Sri Gaura Hari Sahi Goshta Bihari Sri Gaura Hari Sahi Goshta Bihari Sita Hari Ela holo Damodara Ishaye Kana Boga mandire basi kara bojana Nanderani deshe bashi giri baradari Baladeva saha saka boise sari sari Shukta shakhari baji lalita kushmanda Dalidana dugda tumi dadi mocha kanda Muda bora mash boda roti kabritana Chaskuli pista kakir kuli payasana Kapura amrita keli ramba kirashara Amrita rasalam dvadasha pakora Luce sinisar puri ladu rasabali Bhojana kore na Krishna hoye kutuhali Radhikara pakayana bibida bhanjana Paramayanande Krishna kore na bhojana Chale bale ladu khai Sri Madhu Mangala Bagala bajaya Deya Hari Bolo Radhikari gani heri Nayane akone Tripta hoye khai Krishna Jasoda Bhavani Bhojanande Priya Krishna Subhasita Bari Sabe mukha prakaloy Kore sari sari Asta mukha prakaliya Jata sakagane Anande vishrama kore Baladeva sane Jambula rasalane Jambula masala Tahake Krishna Chandra Sukhe nidradela Vishalaka Shiki Pucha Chamara Dulaya Apurva Sayaya Krishna Sukhe Nirayaya Yasomati Anga Priye Danishtaya Nito Sri Krishna Prasad Radha Gunje Hoye Prito Lalitari Saki Gana Avashesha Paya Mane Mane Sukhe Radha Krishna Guna Gaya Hari Lila Ekamatra Jahara Pramora Boga Arati Gai Thakur Bhakti Vinoda Bhajava Katavatsala Sri Gaura Hari Bhajava Katavatsala Sri Gaura Hari Sri Gaura Hari Sahi Gosta Bihari Sri Gaura Hari Sahi Gosta Bihari Nanda Dasomati Chita Hari Nanda Dasomati Chita Hari Raja Govinda Govinda Gopala 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 Raja Govinda Govinda Gopala
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.